And finally, the question, the fact of the matter is that your customer, the customers that you have and your staff defines your business, right? Moving on. Yeah. Right. So what kind of changes are there in the Cambodian economy? Real quickly. On the What kind of changes are there in the economy? Very quickly, there's definitely a greater pressure from customers and staff. What happens is that this, as we have seen in COVID, exposes all the problems that are hidden in any company. Yeah. The value of what a company provides is very critical to growth. And one of the things that we have been noticing is that we like to go over there and think that we know what value our organization provides to our customers. The problem is that our customers may not see the same thing. Okay, let me give you a very good example. We would like to go over there and think that maybe if you are in the restaurant business, for example, okay, that we would like to go over and say that good food, that's the value that we provide. And then after you go and think to yourself that what is the reason why people come over to your restaurant? Sometimes it's not about the food. Sometimes it's about the fact that maybe I don't want to wash my dishes tonight. I don't want to cook. It's convenience. You know, I don't want to go out and buy groceries for myself. This is what I want to do. I want somebody else to buy my groceries. I want somebody else to cook it for me. I want somebody else to serve it up to me. And then after, I want somebody else to be doing the dishes afterwards. And that's the reason maybe that we order takeout rather than just because of the quality of the food. And I guess right now, as it stands, it's very important for us to really take a good look at our company, whatever organization you're in, and then ask yourself, what really is our customers looking to us to provide for them, right? And this then segues to the next point, because once you understand what your value is, then you can go over there and start to go and decide how you want to go over there and grow your organization. If you so choose to go over there and grow your organization one way, it all depends on the value at the end of the day, right? And how you choose to fix and grow the problem determines the success, your company's success and longevity. Okay. When I first started out in running businesses, I started running businesses ever since I was in 2005 in Singapore. One of my business mentor told me that there are 5 aspects to every organization. Doesn't matter whether you're an NGO, doesn't matter whether you're a company that sells clothes, doesn't matter whether you're a bank, doesn't matter whether you're a restaurant. There are 5 aspects to every single company. The first one will be marketing and sales. Okay, how do you communicate with your customers? That's number 1. Number 2 is how do you then create the value and then deliver it to your customers, and that will be under operations. Okay, finance, that's what a lot of us like to focus on, your profit and loss statements, and then after how much money you're making, how are we managing cash flow? That's the 3rd. The 4th one will be human resources, and we use human resource not because the way by which you deal with all human aspects, whether it is your partners, whether it is your staff, whether it is your customers and your clients, all of that goes under human resource. And then finally, it is admin and legal, because all of the aspects of the business need to talk to each other, right? These are the 5 aspects of every company. every organization. If you look at your own organization, you can pretty much segment your organization into any of this, most of the things into this 5. And you'll probably find that there are certain overlapping areas, right? And the next poll that I want to kind of take a look at this is that in your organization right now, if you're looking at your organization, which 3 of these 6 areas would you say would be your biggest problems? And you should be able to see that there's a poll running right now. You can pick 3 out of the 6 choices over there. Okay, great. You should be able to see the progress of that. Awesome. Thank you very much for participating. Wow, sales and marketing by a mile. Okay. Let's give a few more seconds to go and take a look at this before we end the poll. Awesome. Thank you very much. Sales and marketing, definitely, and then after creating value, second. Okay. A little bit on sales and marketing. Can I just quickly check with everybody and tell me whether it's a yes or no thing on the chat? During the last month and a half when we were still under lockdown and COVID, how many of your organizations carried on doing sales or marketing all the way through during the period of time when we were locked down? Right? Okay, some people say that you cut back on marketing. Great. Only small marketing, not sales. Okay. Only through Facebook and Telegram. Right. No cutbacks. Great. Instagram. Awesome. Now, it's a very interesting aspect of business because I find that a lot of times the sales and marketing is very often the first to go when it comes to cost cutting. And the challenge, and it's very interesting to me because after running businesses for 15 years, there are 2 things about marketing. One, usually when it comes to organizations, whatever it is that you market, you will usually get the results 3 to 6 months afterwards. So whatever it is that you are doing for marketing now, you would probably only reap the benefits about 3 to 6 months later. Okay. One of the things, somebody said that sales drop, and nobody wants to talk to us, then maybe it is one of those situations, but if nobody wants to talk to you, it's time to go out to speak with your customers. It may not be just about you have to buy something from me. It could be just asking after your customers, how are they, checking in with them. Because a lot of organizations stopped marketing in the last month and a half. But it is a perfect time if you were an organization, because none of your other competitors are marketing. Right now is the time to go and get your voice out. Yeah, it's time to get your voice out there, whether it is to speak to your customers, whether it is to ask them, so how have things been for you? You don't have to ask them to buy anything from you. It is just checking in with them and making sure that the connection flows. You know, it could even be, remember to go on and wash your hands and wear a mask. Stay safe, everyone. messages like this goes out in marketing, and then your customers know that you're not just after my money. Yeah. We can talk a little bit more about marketing later. We can talk a little bit more about sales later. But also at the same time, we can also talk about creating value in the world. All right. Moving on. Okay. Global competition. The internet right now basically means that all companies are compared to international standards. There's no running away from it. Okay, whoever it is that our customers are that is talking over to us, we cannot just compare to our competitors here in Cambodia. We need to go over there and start looking at what is the global standards. Okay, if we are talking about chicken rice, for example, the chicken rice over in Cambodia, me being Singaporean, I will compare it back home. You know, if we are talking about the quality of service that we are going to get, it's not just going to be whatever it is that we are getting here in Cambodia. It is whatever your customers have experienced, whether here in Cambodia or overseas. Facebook, Instagram, you know, you're fighting for attention from international brands. When it comes to investments, for example, we are talking about investments into Cambodia. We are talking about a global marketplace, right? And Cambodia market it's growing very, very fast. Right after COVID, there's going to be a lot of money coming in. Now the question is, are you placed to go over there and receive some of the investments? Are you going to be ready to go and make sure that that your customers are ready to buy from you? And the interesting thing is that I've seen some companies who never slow down on their marketing. In fact, they actually got more aggressive during the COVID times. And now that when things are starting to open up, there is no lag. They don't have to wait for another 2 or 3 weeks for them to get their marketing together, throw out the marketing, and then wait another 3 weeks for them to get the result from their marketing, right? Now it's not too late yet because most of the world is still shut down. Okay, now might be the time to go over there and start engaging a global marketplace. Maybe not just the people in Cambodia. And the fact of the matter is that with online sales platforms, it's actually pretty easy to open up your market to overseas markets. It's just about delivery. And from what I understand, delivery services, businesses, when it comes to logistics, export and import have never ceased. And right now would be a good time to go over and deliver value to overseas customers and let them start to know you as well. Okay. Now, when you're talking about value, when I first started out in business, my mentor told me that there are only 3 reasons why customers will pay you. Okay, there are only 3 reasons. One, that you can do something that they cannot do. Think about a footballer, for example, somebody who plays soccer, somebody who is an athlete. They get paid a lot of money. Somebody who is a rock star, they get paid a lot of money because they can do something that the rest of us can't. Okay, people who are amazing at art, for example, they get paid a lot of money because they can do things that other people can't do, and they get paid for it, right? The second reason why customers will pay you is because you can do something that they don't want to do. And the minute that you take on a job that other people don't want to do, you can go over there and charge people a ridiculous amount of money. The reason why, for example, I would take a tuk-tuk when I go out at night is because once I go drinking, I don't want to drive. Can I drive? Absolutely. But I don't want to. And probably I can't. After about 5 beers, I can't drive either. but somebody else is willing to go over there and drive for me. Somebody else is willing to go over there and drive because I don't want to drive, I pay him. Okay? Can I walk home? Totally walk home. No problem. But I don't want to walk home. And so when I pay somebody $1.50, $2, for example, because the money that we get, okay, I pay somebody else. I pay somebody else to do something that I don't want to do, right? The third reason that somebody will pay you is because you are taking away the risk of whoever it is that I pay you to take away my risk. That's what all of insurance does, for example. The reason why bodyguards take risk, you know, if they take risk for you, they would, if they take risk for you, they would, they expect to be paid. If insurance take risk for you, they expect to be paid. So if you go over there and look at your business right now, okay, which one or two or three of these reasons would be the reason why your customers pay you? Customers pay you so that they can solve a particular problem for them. Okay, that is what value is. Okay, that's first thing. Second thing is that of all of the people that are offering the same kind of services as you, what makes you different? This is a question that you have to kind of ask yourself. Why do they come to you rather than somebody else? And there is a old saying over that's in business that says that good, cheap, and fast. Pick 2 out of the 3. Okay? If it is good and cheap, it cannot be fast. If it is good and fast, it cannot be cheap. If it is fast and good, wait, hold on. If it's cheap and fast, it cannot be good. Yeah. So you can only pick 2 out of these 3 things. Okay? And usually that truism kind of holds true. It's almost impossible to be good, fast, and cheap. You can't have all 3. So you kind of got to pick 2. Right? And then once you have decided that what makes you different, the third thing that you got to go and ask yourself is, how is your company communicating this value? There's back in the day, back in the 70s and the 80s, they would say that if you make a better mousetrap, people will beat a path to your door. But if nobody knows that you have a better mousetrap, then nobody would come over to you. After you have gone over there and make sure that this is the value that I provide, this is what makes me different, how are you telling people that this is what makes me different? How are you consistent in the way by which you communicate? Okay? If you want to go over there and tell people that, yes, I care about your well-being, I care about the environment by which we live in, I care about the people around me, make sure that it's not just talk. Yeah, make sure that it is pretty genuine. A lot of us go onto social media right now. The one thing about social media that really, really sells is authenticity. Okay, you don't have to look good on social media. In fact, some of the videos that go viral is the guy in like messed up hair, his shirt is halfway down. Maybe when he stands up, he doesn't wear pants, you know, in a Zoom meeting. Because at the end of the day, if you go and think about it, whatever it is that you have on Facebook, Facebook marketing works. Instagram marketing works because it is authentic. It doesn't go through 3 levels of approvals, and it's not slick. It's not fancy. It is, hi guys, this is me. Okay, we are doing this, and this. Okay, and I would like to go over and share this with you. The video is done in 30 seconds. It gets sent. Done. Okay. Great. Moving on. Right. And then the next thing is that your staff, the people that you have that's working together with you, once you have sorted out the value creation side of things, it is the delivery of value. Okay. when we were talking, when I'm working with a lot of organizations, a lot of them say that I have no time to go over and do training. I have no time for my staff to be coached. I have no time because we have business as usual. The great thing about COVID, the great thing about the economy slowing down is now you have time. It is time for you to go over there and put, if it needs be, dry docking your business for 1, 2, 3 weeks, for example. Dry docking, if you don't quite understand it, it means that now that your company is not doing anything, take the stop everything, and then after start reconsidering how do you reorganize your organization. The things that you always wanted to put in place, the things that make the greatest amount of impact that you don't have time to put in because your business is running all the time. Now you can stop. And then after focus, put new systems in place, okay? And then after that, make sure that that is communicated to all of your staff. And then after that, you move on from there. Yeah? Now, a lot of times, especially when it comes to working with organizations, there are, a lot of us are getting told that training, this is my solution to all my staff problems. Training, 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 training. I would like to go over there and very quickly share with you one particular model which has been very useful for working together in organizations. Kirkpatrick's evaluation model pretty much tells you very quickly at what level training and behavioral change actually happens, right? There are 4 levels. Level 1 is the reaction to the training. Did the participants enjoy and respond to it, whether it is positively or negatively? Because as long as you have the attention, something will change. Level 2 is the question of learning. If my participants have enjoyed whatever it is that is in the training, however the training is delivered, whether it is online or whether it is offline, is it face-to-face, is it coaching, is it mentoring, doesn't matter. Now, did they learn what they are supposed to learn? That's the next question, okay? Did the message go through? It can be a lot of fun and games, but if the message doesn't go through, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, okay? That's the second thing. Now, then after there's level 3. Once I know something, would things change? Okay, very good example. I know that smoking is not good for me. I smoke anyway. Okay, just because you know something doesn't mean that your behavior will change. You have to give your staff a certain environment and a motivation to change. We all know that going to exercise more is good for you. Very few of us decides that I'm going to go over to the gym on Saturday, okay? Just because you know something doesn't mean that behaviors will change, okay? Now, once behaviors have changed, then after the next level up is going to be, are you seeing results in the organization? So I hope that this is a very quick overview of what Kirkpatrick means. And then after, let's move on very quickly, okay? Training equals to knowledge transfer. When it comes to a 2-day training, 3-day training, it's just about transferring knowledge, okay? It's about transferring basic understanding. That is what happens in trainings, okay? Trainings, no matter how good it is, it can be the most motivational speaker. The person can come in and once you are done with the training, everybody is super excited, okay? It doesn't equate to behavioral change until practice happens, okay? Practice and behavioral change happens at work. A very good example is, I can give you a 3-day workshop on how to swim. If you don't know how to swim, I can give you a 3-day workshop, okay? I can give you fantastic slides, videos. There's gonna be group discussions on why swimming is good for you, you know, give you all the benefits of swimming. You know, I can give you a 3-day workshop on swimming. That's great. If I get the person after a 3-day workshop on swimming to jump into the pool, probably nothing very much is going to change. Okay, that is a very good way to drown. Now, the only time when behavioral change happens is after you have given the information, okay? You need to give the people that you work with the ability and the time to make mistakes and learn, okay? And constant guidance and support is absolutely necessary. Now, behavioral change only happens when there is consistency over at least 3 months, okay? Any kind of behavior, any kind of habit only begins to form after 1 month of consistently practicing one thing. And then after, if you practice one thing over the next 3 months, it starts to stick in place. After about 6 months of doing exactly the same thing, you don't have to think about it anymore. It starts to become unconscious competency. Okay? Now, it is the same with swimming. It is the same with learning how to ride a motorbike. It is the same with learning how to drive a car. And think about all the skills that you kind of have to learn. Okay? How to make a sale. Putting good posts up on Instagram. Great marketing strategies. Learning how to use an IT system. Okay? Implementation of a new admin protocol. All of these things are more complicated than just learning how to swim. Okay? And all of those take time. Okay? And the best way for people to learn is for them to go over there and try and make mistakes. And then after that, after you go ahead and say, this is what you do. Okay, great. Let's do this. Okay, fantastic. Now let's do that. And then after it moves on from there. Yeah. Everything that we human beings learn run through the same idea of once you can go over there and see a good example, and then after you go over there and try it out and you make mistakes, and then after that you can go over there and slowly change your behavior. Right. Just to kind of round things up. Okay, and then after we're going to start taking questions. I see there are already some comments. Now this is what we're going to do. Okay, these are 3 questions that you can take back over to your organization and then ask yourself whether or not you are poised for moving forward in this post-COVID time. Okay, 1. Question number 1. Okay, once you have sorted out your value, okay, have you consistently and clearly communicated your value to your customers? That's number 1. Okay, consistency is key. Question number 2, once you have communicated it, is the system by which you deliver the value, is it efficient? Okay, is your admin and your operations streamlined? Or is there more ways by which you can go over there and streamline your operations so that it becomes a lot more smooth? And through smoothening out your process, you can actually cut down a significant amount of waste. Yeah, and then after, I guess the third one will be, now this is actually really, really key. Speaking with a lot of organizations and working with a lot of organizations in Cambodia over the last 4 or 5 years, and this is not a Cambodia problem. This is a global problem. Working with companies in Singapore, working with companies around the region, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Hong Kong, China, organizations which are MNCs that have their head offices in France, Europe, doesn't matter. A lot of them have this one challenge, is that if management wants your staff to be demonstrating these behaviors at work, they will take their examples from their managers. Let me say that again. If staff is going to demonstrate certain behaviors, they always take their examples from their managers. If senior management and middle management cannot demonstrate the behaviors by which they want their staff to execute, no matter what it is that you say will not be done. A very good example is, we can go over there and say punctuality is incredibly important. Fantastic, okay? Punctuality, very important. Everybody is supposed to report to work at 8:30 in the morning. Brilliant, fantastic. But if your manager comes in at 9:15 every single day, trust me, your staff will not show up at 8:30. Yeah? Okay? So, if you want the staff to demonstrate certain behaviors, if these are the values by which your organization believes in, then management has to take the lead. Once management takes the lead, everybody else will change. Yeah? And now the question is going to be, is management then demonstrating behaviors that reflect the company values? Okay? If you say yes to all these three things, well done, good for you, you're ready to go. If not, then let me go challenge you and go back to the question, where are you lacking in, and would you be able to find a solution for it? Yeah? Okay. That's very quickly the end of the, what I have to share. I know that there is that you have got some questions. If you have other questions, please please type them into the group chat. And then after, I see that there are already some questions right now. Let me just very quickly answer them. Yeah. Okay. Sean mentioned that you need more explanation on how to communicate the value of your product. Great. What? Okay. Sean, when it comes to communicating the value of your product, we can talk about marketing all day long, and it will be a five-day conversation. But let me just very quickly go over and take a look at this, okay? When you're communicating the value of a product, first question is going to be, what is your product? And what is the value of it? Once you've decided that, then the next question is going to be, what avenues are you going to choose? Your Facebook posts that you have on, most of the time in Cambodia, practically everybody has a Facebook account. Practically every every business has a Facebook page. Do you have posts on your Facebook page that consistently shows this is what it is that you are doing? Okay. If let's say, for example, if you are a restaurant, for example, and I've seen some restaurants do this, okay? Good. If you're a restaurant that focuses on, say, for example, quality, okay? Then go over there and tell them that this is the quality of my product, okay? We give a little bit of a history of where and how you source your suppliers. And you might even want to go over there and have a video that says that, you know, we have ran through a significant number of suppliers from all of these places. We decided on this particular supplier because A, B, C, and D. Okay? Just a couple of businesses that are doing really well in communicating value. If you want to go and look at it on Instagram, is this one company from the States called Bon Appetit. It's a test kitchen. It's a kitchen. They are a magazine, but they also do a lot of they do a lot of posts online. they engage their audience by introducing chefs, okay? And then from there, they go over there and say that, you know, we are concerned about you and COVID. And then after, they do a very consistent, they very consistently show that they are interested in food. They show that they are interested in making sure that everybody gets the best meal possible. You know, that's one way. Now let's see, what else is there? Other questions like, how do I do the cost? Okay. So, what influences behavior changes? Okay, just focusing on a little couple of things. Point number one, if you don't eat good food, you cannot make good food. If you're going to change behavior, your staff first needs to know what behavior should you be demonstrating. Okay, it's easy to say innovation. Innovation in what? It's easy to say that you want people to take initiative. How are you encouraging people to take initiative? Yeah. So it is the question of one, okay, can they see from their direct manager and from management, okay, can they see these behaviors? A good example is, say for example, one of the organizations that I work, one of the restaurants that I've visited, for example, working hard and consistently and customer service is important. They say that the boss of the restaurant will personally go and wipe the tables if all of the staff is busy. He will be the one to clear the plates, and he will be the one to make sure that the customer's water is filled up. Now, if the manager is the one that does it, then you can go over there and think about how, like if let's say that everybody else who is down the road is going to be looking at this, and they will go, okay, yeah, consistency is important, customer service is important, because my manager is the one that demonstrates to me. Another very good example is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think that teamwork is one of the very, very big things that a lot of companies talk about. And I've seen when I was at Hard Rock Cafe in Phnom Penh, for example, and I'm fairly certain that teamwork is probably one of their main values. And I see a server, I see one of the waiters carrying a big dish, and he's walking through the crowd. And I see the floor manager clearing the way for him so that the server can actually walk through without spilling his drink. Now, for the manager to go over there and say that, you know, excuse us, and then after for the waiter to be able to walk through, that says teamwork better than anything else. So one, is there a demonstration of the value? Two, is there a system in place to ensure that the value is demonstrated consistently? Okay, and three, consistency is important when it comes to behavior change. Generally speaking, once you have that, it's good to go over there and have either intrinsic or extrinsic rewards. Okay, I realize that we also are running a little bit out of time. I would like to go over there and say that thank you very much for joining us. And